you and DeFi Options Dev and Gildor, you built a decentralized option protocol, platform protocol. That's pretty cool. Why?
Yeah.
What makes you do that?
I mean, I was mostly interested to figure out how DeFi can have its own native stable coin supply backed by on-chain credit rather than being reliant upon like USDC, and Tether or even the over-collateralized stablecoins.
So this is a way to make the blockchain space, not the blockchain space, but like the Web3 DeFi space, even more resilient against like single point of failures.
I don't know if I would go that far. I would probably make it so that I guess the on-chain space can grow. Try to grow without necessarily being limited by off-chain stablecoins being supplied or off-chain fiat. I think that to me the biggest problem with DeFi is it's pretty much limited by off-chain fiat. Unlike traditional finance system where banks can like only have a fraction of like cash deposits, yet their deposits on their balance sheets can be many times greater than that, and the notional of the outstanding derivatives can even be many times greater than the size of their balance sheets.
And this
Whereas
is
DeFi has to be right now. A lot of DeFi is constrained basically by the stablecoin supply. So it's like balance sheets or like token supply or TVL cannot expand greater than stablecoins put in the protocols. I don't know if that's
so everything is kind of collateralized. You have to like balance everything.
I mean, everything will be collateralized to some degree, no matter what. It's just things are basically one-to-one collateralized, and a lot of like positions can't be opened or without having both sides having collateral. So it's not really as efficient as it is in traditional finance. And I feel like DeFi is still kind of limited in that aspect by traditional finance. I mean, of course, people can like buy Bitcoin or ETH or whatever and swap cash like in person or on some random app, and they can get it debited to their address. But that's still kind of a limitation. I mean, like I kind of saw like on-chain derivatives kind of as a way where leverage and credit can be created without necessarily being reliant upon that off-chain ecosystem to have to fund it.
On-chain credit instead of having it in the TradFi system.
Yeah, because I mean, you have basically people's bank accounts get credited. They send money to Coinbase, and Coinbase mints USDC or Circle or whatever they're partners with. And I mean, they basically are creating credit tokens. It's like why can't we build credit tokens on top of stablecoins? That's what I'm thinking. That's my whole play. I mean, like derivative protocols on chain should just basically be able to mitigate the flows on and off chain. When people want to withdraw off chain.
Would DeFi options do this like credit layer, not credit layer, credit token, credit thing on the stable coin?
In the V1, no, but the way that I have done with V2, yeah, that's the plan. I think the V1's pretty conservative in this fact that liquidity providers, they cannot borrow collateral into existence. They can't borrow credit from the protocol, but V2 is set up so liquidity pools can borrow credit from the protocol. So, because
And
right
where
now,
does that credit come from? Like, is that a separate token that is called like credit?
no, the credit is basically the exchange balance. So right
Ah,
now right now in V1, both liquidity providers and option buyers, or you want to say in the more abstract sense, derivative buyers, they have to both put in stable coins. But in
yeah.
V2, liquidity providers won't necessarily have to put in stable coins.
Ah, they can only put in the DeFi Options DAO token.
No, they won't have to put in, I would say, more stable coins. The whole reasoning by this is like, okay, say a liquidity pool is being really profitable, has a lot of volume, and can manage risk. You know,
Huh?
the DAO can vote to allow them to have even more leverage, so that they don't necessarily have to put in more capital. So instead of
Ah,
having to put in, say, like 4 million,
yeah, you
4
just
million in
increase the
stable
leverage.
coins, exactly. The liquidity pool can just increase the leverage. And as long as the
Yeah.
liquidity pool can manage their derivative risk by how they're writing derivatives, and like if they're say market neutral and
Yeah.
they're just collecting the spread, then overall it should be fine. The option buyers are basically the financing the leverage, kind of like in how I guess in traditional finance, the depositors are financing the leverage on bank balance sheets.
Yeah.
So in this case, derivative buyers are financing the leverage of the liquidity pools.